to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering all things theater. And we have a really special guest today, my good friend, Tracy Mitchell, the executive director of Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor. Welcome, Tracy, and thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure to see you.
Patrick. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, it's really nice to see you too. It's been a long time to see you.
It's been a long time. These 2 years have felt like a lifetime. So.
Oh no, you've done incredible things. I mean, you really did incredible things last year. I think it was extraordinary. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. But let's talk about this season because there's so much going on. You have an incredible season and you have a new theater in the works, which I want to talk about too, but let's save it for the end and tell everybody about what you've got planned this year.
Well, we decided, as I said, it's been a long time coming. So we decided to go out of the gate really with a bang. So our first show up is well, it's not a world premiere, it's an East Coast premiere because I believe it was performed once already, but it is a show called Windfall, and it's written by Scooter Peach, who's known even more for his television writing, and it's being directed by Jason Alexander. It's Jason's directing, and it's a wonderfully funny, dark comedy about a group of office workers in Ohio who are governed by a maniacal boss, and they decide to go in on a lottery ticket together, and let's just say mayhem ensues.
Because they win, I guess.
Well, they win, but they lose the ticket. So, and it really is funny, I have to say.
Did I force a giveaway? I hope I didn't.
No, not at all. It's just too funny not to believe. So, good fun.
Anyway, after Windfall, the next play is a Pulitzer Prize winning Anna in the Tropics, a 2003.
That's right. I think it won for 2003. Is that right?
But yes, 2003. Correct. Yeah, yes. Nilo Cruz is the playwright.
Absolutely. And I ran into Daryl Roth. Some of you may know Daryl. She's a wonderful woman, and a Broadway producer. Happens to have a home out east. Yes. But I ran into her last night and she said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're doing Anna in the Tropics." She was the very first producer of that play. What is that? 21 years ago now. So
she's produced 6 Pulitzer Prize winning plays. I don't know if you know that.
I did not. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So in any case, it's a beautiful play. Obviously, if it's a Pulitzer Prize winner, really well written. It's sultry, it's sexy, and it tells the story of a family that's come over from Cuba and now working in Miami in the 1920s at a cigar factory. So it's just really luscious.
And it's the impact of what happens when they take away the readers to the workers. They have readers that work that read to the people as they're working, and that with the impact of mechanicalization of everything, they don't have readers anymore, and it makes a big difference on their lives. It's the cultural change that it makes. After Anna in the Tropics, we have Mike Birbiglia.
Yes, Mike's coming for just a 1-week show, so he'll run in rep with Anna in the Tropics during his week, which is July 11th to 16th. And as most of you probably know, he's a very funny and poignant speaker and performer. So he's doing a follow-up to a show that he did on Broadway pre-COVID. So it should be very funny. He talks a lot about being a parent, for those of you that haven't seen it. So this is the next iteration of that show.
This is a follow-up to him having the baby, because I've seen everything he's done, and I absolutely adore Mike Birbiglia. He actually inspired me to write my Lessons from Dogs, because his style is so personal and so directly talking to the audience, but it's hysterical at the same time. He shares such his
Yes.
vulnerability with you, which is his, and his raw honesty
Yes.
is what makes it
You know,
so funny.
what makes a true artist is that they're really putting it out there on the line and making themselves really vulnerable, as he does.
And his previous one was about having a baby that he initially didn't want to have, and
Right.
how he begrudgingly gave into it, and how it became a life changer. The thing that he resisted all his life was the biggest thing that changed his life. Was
Yep.
it was he's a riot. He's really wonderful.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing that myself. And then you almost have it's a community production in a way of all the talent behind it. Ragtime.
We have Ragtime for sure. And it's, I think most of your viewers will remember it was written from, adapted from the book by E.L. Doctorow.
Who was a local resident.
Who's a local resident. And the book, the book for the musical was written by Terrence McNally. So it's our little
another local resident.
Terrence. Yeah, may he rest in peace. And it's being directed by Will Pomerantz. For those that may not remember that name, Will directed our hit show Evita. And so he's done amazing jobs for us on our musicals, and he's agreed to come back. So we're very fortunate to have him as part of that team.
He's a wonderful director, and what's ironic, he directed About Love at the Sheen Center, which was the last thing that I covered before we went into lockdown under COVID. And we went to opening night and we did interviews with everybody, and that was a wonderful show too. And his Evita was fabulous too. So and Stephen Flaherty, we didn't mention Stephen Flaherty, who wrote the music, is another local resident.
That's
so
right.
Stephen
was here since the day I walked into Bay Street, and Lynn Ahrens, together they wrote the music and the lyrics. So it's a group that's been tied to Sag Harbor for years. So we feel very blessed to have them all back in our fold, so to speak.
And it's a fabulous story that resonates too, really strongly. I liked it as the novel. The novel was wonderful. A really wonderful novel. But then they really expanded it with the musical.
Right.
The last production was one of the finest ones I've ever seen. So I look forward to seeing what Will does with this, because he's very inventive. I'm sure he's going to find something very unusual to do.
He will. I'm certain of that.
I look forward to it. Yeah, and now you're doing comedy clubs.
Yes, we're coming
comedy
back.
Night. What's it called? What's it called? Comedy Night?
The Comedy Club. Yeah.
I got it right the first time.
Yeah, you had it right. So it's basically our Saturday nights when we're changing over from one show to another, and the set is too much of a mess and everything for us to actually do a performance of the show that night of the main stage. So we put comedy on those nights.
Let's go back to Windfall, because that sounds like a really funny show you're going to have there. We have some rehearsal shots here.
I have to tell you, I was at that first rehearsal, and you couldn't ask for a nicer crew, a nicer team of actors, and Jason Alexander himself, and is just an incredible director. We all think of him as the role that we all think of him in, and here he is, just an incredible director with such talent that you could see it even on the first day. The actors really responded to him, and he's very kind and seemingly easy to work with. So
has he directed before?
Oh, yes. That's been his career for quite some time now. That's his go-to.
Oh, wow. I didn't know him as a director. I only know him as
None of us did. It's sort of...
Well, Scott does, obviously.
Yes, exactly. And he's, Jason was very excited about this script. We have a couple of commercial producers that we're working with. So this may very well be one that moves. Never know. So... Yeah, exactly.
Your lips to God's ears.
To God's ears, right?
So you guys also have a comedy night. That you've got some really cool people lined up.
Yes, you can see Paula Poundstone. She loves to come to Bay Street. She's a perennial favorite, and she kicks our comedy club off on Memorial Weekend. and the Saturday of Memorial Weekend. And then it's June 25th. We have Colin Quinn, also a great favorite of ours. And he's terrific too. He loves to work some new shows and things that he's thinking of bringing to Broadway. So it's always great to see that in the process.
Does
And
he
last but not, what's that?
Does he have a new show that's in the works to come to Broadway?
I think he's working on something.
So he's going to try out some of it.
Yeah, that's exciting. And then we have a new comic with us. His name is Preacher Lawson. And if you look up some YouTube videos of this guy, you will be on the floor. I mean, I was searching around because I don't really know my comedians as well as I know my sort of Broadway singers.
Yes,
so,
yes.
But this guy is, mark my words, going to be a huge star. So that's our comedy club, and you have three different nights to catch it.
And we, after that, you also have these Music Mondays.
Yes, we're going back to our big full season. So we have the main stage shows 6 nights a week and 2 matinees. We have these comedians on a couple of Saturdays, and now we also have Music Mondays starting up in July. So
what's the first one coming up?
Well, we have Marilyn May. I know that. That's
I just saw her last night.
Oh, yes,
everybody was there.
Yeah.
Everybody was there. She is going to knock your socks off. To think that this woman is 94 years old. Last night she performed for 1 hour and 45 minutes on her feet, singing constantly, nonstop, very little chatter in between.
Yeah, I had her booked, believe it or not, when she was 92, pre-COVID. I had her booked for the summer, and COVID comes, and 2 years later, here we are, 2.5 years. And I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to get her back? She's 94 years old. And you're right, Patrick, I have seen her perform, and she is a real inspiration. So yes.
You just and it was so warm and intimate and funny all at the same time. I mean, it was just a force.
She's a treasure. She's a national treasure.
Last night she's talking about she's going to do Carnegie Hall next March. She's planning to do at 95.
That's great. That's great, but she's going to do Bay Street first, so we're very lucky.
Because I can't wait to see her. I just saw her last night. I can't wait to see her again.
Yeah,
it's such a lift and such an inspiration to be in her presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anybody that comes to see it's going to really get a good jolt.
Yeah,
of what they
I think
need.
that's true with a number of our music folks. We have Allie Stoker, who's coming.
Anybody that doesn't know Allie, she won a Tony Award and a wheelchair in Oklahoma.
That's right. She is a powerhouse. For those of you that didn't see Oklahoma, she's an incredible singer, and she's done a lot more than that as well. We also have Lilius White.
Another Tony winner,
Another Tony winner, and she has been to Bay Street. Lilius White starred in a new musical here years ago.
I remember.
Yeah,
it.
called Big Maybelle, Soul of the Blues.
It was a one-person show, right?
Yes, yeah. And I got to tell you, Lilius can do same as Marilyn May, just bang it out of the park.
Well, she's a force of nature, and she is an incredible Tony Award winner too. I just saw her this season in Black No More, and she was wonderful in that too. I love her.
I heard that was an incredible performance. I did not see that one, but yeah. So those are our music.
Anytime Lilia shows up, Tracy, it's a performance and it's fabulous.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Marilyn too. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. We have 2 other things that are actually quite different for our Music Mondays. One is a special event with Kyle Barisic, and it's a Sip and Sing live. This is something that people have been telling me on a weekly basis. How come you only do it online? Let's do one live. So Kyle Barisic, who's been the host of those for over a year now, over 2 years now, will do one live with some added guests. and everyone's welcome. He will sing a few numbers, of course, on his own, as he always does, and then we'll have the opportunity to sing along as well. So that'll be fun.
Which date is it?
That is August 29th. And the week before that, we have another great night, very different from our normal Music Mondays. That is, we have Julie Andrews will be directing one of her pieces called Mouseicle. And so it's a small ensemble. This is going to be on a Monday night at Bay Street. And she has agreed to direct it and do a talk back afterwards. So
what's it called again? What's the name of it?
Mouseicle.
Is it for children? I mean, is it some?
Children are invited, but it's not necessarily just made for them.
And is it a book that she wrote? Is one from one of her books? Is that what it's from?
No, it's not based on one of her books either. It's just a piece that she's been a part of since its actual creation.
So it's a theater piece then?
Yeah. Yes.
Is this the first time will be performed?
No, they did do it, I believe, at Goodspeed many years ago.
Okay.
But Julie asked if we could do this, and her daughter Emma, of course, one of the co-founders.
Oh, how exciting! Oh,
yeah,
cool.
so
she's another breath of fresh air too. Wow. What a wonderful season you've got planned. Is there anything else you want to share with us about what's coming up that we hadn't planned?
No, I mean, I think that most of your viewers know that we have a huge and very robust educational program. So this summer we have 8 weeks of camps, and it's theater and it's puppetry and it's music, and so there's really something for everyone in that summer offering. And you can find all of that at baystreet.org.
You guys hit all the bases, you really do. So what can you share with us about what's happening with the new theater?
Okay, so we're looking at
everybody, when I mention Bay Street, they all want to know, is it happening? Is it not happening?
I know. Listen, I'm just the executive director, but as far as I know, we are going to be building a theater. And most people are aware that we own the property that's diagonally across from Bay Street, that encompassed the 7-Eleven and all those little stores there. So our architect is reworking a drawing, and Scott and I and the Board of Trustees are anxiously awaiting to see what the next version looks like. We had to go back to the drawing board, as most people will remember. I've never done this before, so we put something out. It wasn't exactly to everyone's liking. And it also, we had to be honest, we had to wait until the codes were finished so that we could abide by all of those. So our architect has gone back to the drawing board to try and lower the ceiling height and work on some of the setbacks. And I think it'll be a much better thing for everybody.
Oh, I think it'll be incredible. It's that whole space there was an eyesore. I think it'll make the place really beautiful and add to. And yes, I'm so thrilled you're going to be able to do it. Is there any anticipation on when you might be able to break it?
There's the $1 million question, Patrick. The $1 million. Actually, it's probably more like a $40 million question, but I'm not sure.
Is it going to be 2 years or 3 years, or was it how long?
I think 3 years, only because we don't have the first drawing yet. And then once we get it, it has to go through all the approvals and within the village. And, before you can even put a shovel in the ground. And once you have a shovel in the ground, you're talking 1.5 years or so. So, I mean, I think we're really looking at 3 years. And we're in the middle of, we've had wonderful response from our landlord, who is going to provide us with a new lease until such time, as we need it. He's been very good working with us. So, we're very lucky. We're very, very lucky. This has been a dream of everyone who's been involved in the theater to once and for all have our own space, one that we own, so we can guarantee Bay Street's future forever. And if that can happen, this gal can retire in with some smiles and a little drink with little umbrellas coming out of it.
Is it still on the plan to have 2 theaters as well? A small black box
Yeah,
and oh, how wonderful.
the plan is to have the main theater and then of course a black box, which is, you know, if you work in theater, you understand that that's how we develop new theater. So we could do a lot more with our New Works program. I mean, I will say we had our New Works Festival not too long ago, and Patrick, we had 600 submissions of new plays. So it tells you how much is out there and how many people really need to hear their play read out loud, worked on, and you can't do that in a theater that has 300 seats. It's just too expensive. So we're hoping to have the black box and be able to use it for our educational programs and things like that.
Well, I applaud you for all your efforts. You've really done a great job as the executive director there, and I've been a friend of Bay Street's right from the beginning, so we're excited for you and everything that's happening. We're gonna, I think we're almost out of time. We look forward to seeing you at the theater, Tracy.
Believe me, no one has been happier than I am to see that ghost light that used to sit on a dark stage here during COVID. I'm so glad that is gone. I'm happy to be doing interviews again with friends, and we can't wait to welcome back everybody to the theater. And, you know, for the time being, we are still wearing masks inside. All of the staff has been vaccinated and actors themselves. So we have a very safe environment, and we hope everyone will feel comfortable coming back. We could really use people's support.
Thank you so much for coming, Tracy. It's been my pleasure to have you.
Thank you.